Manga-Waido.
My name is Gen Nakamura. I'm a recently graduated medical intern. I guess you could call me the seedling of a doctor. The problem is, I'm not very efficient, and senior doctors are always making fun of me. You're just really slow at doing anything. Can't you just be a little bit quicker? I'm sorry.
That intern listens to a patient's complaints for 30 minutes, and I have to be there with him.
So, we have a useless intern in the ward.
Yesterday, I overheard the female nurses gossiping about me.
Every year, there's at least one. I swear, they're not suited for this job.
To avoid all the nurses and doctors who'd made fun of me, I began spending my breaks alone on the roof of the hospital. Maybe I should quit medicine.
I see you're depressed again.
Chinatsu. Her name is Chinatsu Matsuura. She's 2 years older than me, and I've known her since we were children. We'd lost touch for a while, but had reunited at this hospital. I knew she had come to Tokyo to become a nurse, but never would I have expected we'd end up in the same hospital.
So what? You're quitting medicine?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're a klutz?
You sure don't mince your words, huh?
Whoops. Sorry.
To be honest, it's not as if I really wanted to become a doctor anyway.
I guess you were expected to aim high.
Yeah. My dad's a lawyer, my older brother's a lawyer, my younger brother's a bureaucrat. There was no way I could become just an average office worker.
Nothing wrong with working in an office.
My dad told me to find a job I could be proud of. I chose medicine because studying was the only thing I was good at.
I think you'll make an excellent doctor. Break time is over. Here, have a coffee. See you.
Huh? Chinatsu went out of her way to look out for me after that.
You don't have a car, right? I'll give you a lift home.
She'd sometimes wait for me to finish work when I was super busy.
I'm sure you're not eating properly.
She'd even come to my apartment with groceries and cook me food. Why would she do all this? She must be busy with her own work. She even came around when I had the flu. So I asked her, "Why do you look after me so much?"
Well, it would be a huge shame not to have you around given how lucky we were to reunite, right? Plus, I want you to do well.
Why?
I've told you before, right? You'd make a good doctor.
Would I?
You know how to empathize with patients. Everyone else might call that being slow or inefficient, but I don't think that. I think you're going to be a great doctor.
Chinatsu. I have a crush on you. Will you go out with me? I had a fever of 40 degrees Celsius, but I did mean it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna take care of you forever. Afterwards, I realized that sounded like a proposal, but the point was, that's how happy I felt. Spurred on by Chinatsu's words of encouragement, I decided I was going to continue trying to become a doctor. Of course, there were times I was made fun of, or gossiped over, but many patients said I was kind and reliable. Driven by the single-minded desire to help more people, I was able to work many times harder than others. After 2 years interning, it came time to decide which department I would specialize in. Following the advice of one of my seniors, I decided to go into neurosurgery. I'd always been interested in neurosurgery, so hearing him tell me I should pursue it was a huge boost for my confidence. When I told Chinatsu this, she said,
That's amazing. It means there are doctors who see the potential in you. Really well done. I'm so happy for you.
"It's thanks to you, Chinatsu." 4 years later, and with a lot of hard work, I finally became a neurosurgeon. Even my dad, who had incredibly high standards, finally began to acknowledge me. After this, I'm turning 30. It's been 6 years since I started dating Chinatsu. For Christmas, I booked a restaurant with a view. Chinatsu, will you marry me?
I will, and I promise to look after you every day.
I told myself I was going to look after her for the rest of my life. We enjoyed the dinner and headed home. As Chinatsu didn't drink, she was the one driving. Wow, it's snowing quite heavily, huh?
It's a white Christmas. How romantic.
Just as I was about to say yeah... Watch out! When I next opened my eyes, I was lying in a hospital bed. From the many devices connected to me, I could tell that I'd been unconscious for several days. What about Chinatsu? What happened to Chinatsu? I asked the nurse attending me about Chinatsu.
Don't worry. Chinatsu woke up days ago. Just focus on getting better yourself for now.
I see. This put me a little at ease. After that, it took another 2 weeks for my condition to stabilize. I wanted to see Chinatsu as soon as possible, but I wasn't allowed any visitors, and spent days without seeing anyone. So when Chinatsu visited me one day in a wheelchair, I was super happy. Are you okay, Chinatsu?
Yeah, compared to you, who can't even get out of bed, I'm fine.
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
I'm really sorry. This all happened because of my driving.
What are you talking about? It was inevitable, regardless of who was driving.
Yeah.
How are your injuries?
I'm okay. I already have a discharge date. What about you?
I'd like to say I'm also fine, but the problem is my right hand.
Your right hand?
Apparently, I'm gonna have some after effects. With a fair amount of rehab, I'll be able to return to daily activities, but I was told I can't perform surgery anymore.
No way.
In the past, I didn't care about becoming a doctor, but now, I'm really upset about this.
So sounds like medicine was your calling after all.
But with this right hand,
I'm so sorry.
it's not your fault. Had I been driving, things might have been a lot worse.
Thanks. Jen-chan, if anyone can get through this, it's you. You can do this, Jen-chan. I believe in you.
Thanks. 1 month later, the day for me to leave hospital finally came. I kept Chinatsu waiting, but somehow, I was able to leave hospital in time for our special date. We decided beforehand that we would register our marriage on our dating anniversary, and that was coming up in a week's time. I phoned Chinatsu, but for some reason, she wouldn't pick up. This continued for 3-4 days. 2 days before we were scheduled to register our marriage, I received a phone call from Chinatsu's parents. Is this Chinatsu? Gan-kun, it's been a while. Oh, hello, father. It was Chinatsu's father. With a heavy tone, he told me I should come over to their house. Let me be direct. Okay. You should break up with Chinatsu. And you should quit your job too. Or at least change where you work.
Isn't that asking too much?
Sorry? I couldn't understand what was happening. It's true that I can no longer be a surgeon, and as a result, I'll never become a top-level doctor, but... That's not it. It's not about you. It's about Chinatsu. Even if you stayed with her, you'll never be happy. I don't understand. Chinatsu lost her leg in that accident. What? She lost her leg? She never told me. I reminded myself what Chinatsu looked like in the hospital. She did have a blanket on top of her legs, and I hadn't really seen under it.
Not just that, she's also lost movement in her left hand. She thinks she won't be able to do housework or look after children.
Marrying her, disabled as you already are, is going to be a huge burden on you. So that day, when she was comforting me, she was actually hiding her own injuries, which were far worse than mine. She kept telling me that I'd be okay.
She thought long and hard about it and has decided that she doesn't want to be a burden on you and is therefore breaking up with you.
This is what happened. Please try to understand her. That's hardly a problem. Huh? Yes, but the fact that Chinatsu is missing a leg is not a problem. I can do the housework and look after the children. She supported me through many hard times. Now it's time I support her!
We appreciate you saying that, but this isn't a trivial matter.
I now understand what it's like to be disabled, and this is why I'm confident I can look after her. Ken-kun, please, give me your permission to marry Chinatsu! When I lifted my head, they were both crying. Thank you! Thank you! Yes! The three of us held each other, crying. Wanting to talk to her immediately, I headed to the hospital. She was going to the rehab facility at our hospital. She wasn't in the rehab room, nor the waiting room, so I headed somewhere else. I thought you might be here.
Jen-chan, so you convinced my mother and father.
I told them it doesn't matter you're missing your leg.
It's a huge problem. I can't walk anymore. I don't want to be a burden on you.
You can walk with a prosthetic leg.
It's not that simple. Not everyone can walk with a prosthetic leg.
You'll walk.
How can you be sure?
Because I'm going to help you until you can walk.
And what if I never walk again?
Then I'll still be by your side. You once told me that I had the ability to empathize with other people.
Yeah.
If I see someone suffering from missing a leg, you know I'd empathize with them, right?
Yes. That's what I love about you.
But let me tell you this. The only person I want to empathize with for the rest of my life is you!
Jen-chan, thank you so much.
I've got you. 2 days later, we headed to the city council and registered our marriage. After returning to work, I joined the rehabilitation department. If only you hadn't gotten injured, you could have become a great surgeon. And now you're stuck in rehab. This is what some of my colleagues say, but I'm proud of what I do. Even after being discharged from hospital, many people require rehab. I want to become the kind of doctor who can help those kinds of people. A few years later,
You look so different on TV.
maybe because I was nervous, I'm watching TV with Chinatsu now. The other day, I was featured in a medical program.
Your hospital is famous for establishing a prosthetics and orthotics production division within the rehabilitation department. That was based on a proposal you made, correct?
Yes, in the past we had no choice but to interrupt rehab every time a prosthesis no longer fit. However, now the coordination with the prosthetic and orthotic department has become much smoother. The time it takes for patients to return to their normal lives has been significantly reduced.
Look at my husband go.
Don't make fun of me! My phone suddenly rang. It was from my father. I saw you on TV again. Looks like you're doing well. Oh yeah!
You're embarrassed.
Are you sure? I can do it.
No problem. Plus, I need to get used to this prosthetic. Things are going to get pretty busy once this baby is born.
So said Chinatsu, and rubbed her big tummy. Next year, somebody new is joining our family. As a rehab doctor and the pillar of this household, I intend to continue working hard.